All right, folks, so this is animation in Davinci Resolve, which is the same animation for any other animation program. Okay? Whatever we animate here is the same animation process anywhere. 2D animation, everything, except for stop motion animation, because stop motion animation, there is no undo button. It's a reset. That's the that's the highest form, in my opinion, of animation because there's no eraser. At least in 2D, you can erase. Stop motion, you film, and if you messed up, it's a redo. Okay, so let's start. And I'm going to start by using a text right here. Okay, so we're just going to drag a text. And the length of your animation, of course, is the length of your text in the timeline, right? So if we have this, and it goes like that. Okay, so things we need to worry about is our transform tools. Okay, what are transform tools? And these are universal tools. You'll find them in the inspector. Under video tab, transform, scale or zoom or resize, position or move or translate, and rotation angle. That's it. Move, rotate, scale. All animation program, they use this. Any editing program use this. Image editing, word processing, they have all this. Okay, these are universal. Okay, so when we say transform tools, that's what we're talking about. Okay, and we have a universal animation button. It's the diamond. Whenever you see this diamond, that parameter is animatable. You will animate it. Okay, and the way it's set up for a lot of animation programs, it toggles on and off. When you click it, it turns on. When you click it again, you delete the animation. That's how you get rid of it. Okay. Also, when you animate something, it's assumed that the next parameter that you put here, it's also animated. So you only need to click this once. The next part will always be pre-animated for you or pre-pressed for you. Does that make sense? You don't have to keep clicking it. It's just assumed that you only keyframe once and every changes that you make is keyframeable. You actually have to go out of your way to make sure nothing is keyframed by turning it off manually, but by default it's on, right? Okay, so let me turn that off. Just want to kind of show you, okay? So how do we animate? It's quite simple. First, you select the item or object or clip that you want to animate. This one is selected, that's done. Number two, position the time in the timeline. Where do you want your animation to start or to stop? In our case, it's our start time, right? We haven't done any animation, so okay, that's the biggest mistake beginner animators face is that just because you're not doing anything at the beginning, they neglect it. They don't keyframe it, so that nothing gets done. Okay, you have to, even though nothing's happening, you still have to tell, hey, do nothing here by me doing something, by keyframing nothing. Okay, so that's important. So number two, position your time. Okay, number three, set your parameter. What it is that you want to animate. Do you want to scale this? You want to move it or rotate it? And number four, keyframe it. Then you repeat the process again. Select the item you want to animate. It's still selected. Position the time. So let's say I want this over here on the next keyframe. Change my parameter. Do I need to keyframe it for the second time? No, you don't. It automatically keyframes it already. So keyframing it only happens at the beginning. Okay? In 3D, not unless you do that auto keyframe, it will not auto keyframe for you. That's the exception to the rule. But Premiere, Final Cut, After Effects, all this program with that stupid diamond button, okay, they all auto keyframe. Okay, so let's make this title here just go from left to right. Okay, so we're gonna start making it go at on the first second, our first keyframe, and then our second keyframe will be on the third second, right here. Okay, so timeline 1 and timeline 3. Okay, 3 seconds. So, all right, let's do the first step. Select the object. There it is. Number 2, position your timeline. So we agreed. We're going to animate the first keyframe on the 1 second, right? And then Number 3, change your parameters. So we want this from here to here. So we're going to position it right there. So let's say that's where we want it. Okay, and step 4, we keyframe. Repeat the process again. Select the object you want to animate. It's still selected. Number 2, position the time. We want this to move from here to here at the 3-second mark, right? There it is. Number 3, change your parameters. We want it to go here. A little bit more. A little bit more. Right there. And number 4, keyframe. But we don't need to because it auto keyframes it. I don't need to press that button because if I actually press that button, it deletes the animation. So now I'm done. I just need to press the space bar. Put on loop. There it is. Why is it choppy? You already know the answer. Because this computer is not meant for this. All right, there it is. Can we add more to the animation of position? Yes, of course. We have our rotational angle here. Why would we do that, right? So let's make everyone get dizzy here. So I'm going to start. Still selected. Step number 2, position the time. There it is at the very beginning. Okay. And then step number 3, change your parameter. Okay. I'm going to do rotation, but I don't want it to start rotating until later. So I just want no rotation. Okay. Step number 4, you still got to keyframe it even though you didn't put any rotational value. Because people skip that, thinking, hey, there's no rotation, why would I keyframe it? Well, then that means he won't know that it's not supposed to rotate. Okay, let's do the next step. Select the object again, still selected. Number 2, position the time. I want this rotating until the very end. -1 frame. Okay? Step number 3, what do you want to do? I'm going to rotate it. There you go, 360. Step number 4, I don't have to do anything because it's our second keyframe. It automatically rotates it. So if I play our animation now, there it is. Really, really confusing title right there. Okay, let's add more to this. We have Zoom, why not use it? Yeah. All right, so step 1, select the object. It's still selected. Step 2, position the time. I want it to start growing right here. Around 120, 2-second mark. Okay? Step number 3, I don't want it to zoom in at the very beginning, so I'm just going to leave it at 1. You still got to keyframe it for step number 4. Repeat the process again. Object still selected. Position the time. Right here. 4 seconds. Step 3, change the parameter. Okay, step 4, it's still keyframe, so I don't have to do anything. We're going to do 3 keyframes for the zoom. Step 1, selected. Step 2, position the time. So I want this thing to shrink when it ends. Step 3, change your parameters. Step 4, keyframe, but it's already got the keyframe. So when we play this, all right, all about cheese, right? Okay, so that's the basics of keyframing, keyframe animation. Let's do a practical example. Let's change the words to coming soon. We always see this, okay? So, let's say you do your job, find the right font, so on and so forth. Anyway, all right, so how long is this on the screen? Coming soon. Right there, okay? Let's make it more dramatic. Coming soon. right there. Okay, so we're going to trim it. That's the amount of time we will see coming soon. All right. So when they do animation for trailer, they either zoom them, they scale them just a tiny bit. Okay. So let's do that. It's either they grow or they shrink. But coming soon, it's coming soon, so it's growing. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, so first step, select the object you want to animate. Second, position the time where you want your starting animation. I want it at the very beginning. Okay. Step 3, I'm going to go Inspector, Video tab. I want to zoom this. I want to make this thing bigger. Okay. Since this is the first keyframe, ain't going bigger. We're just telling it, hey, don't be big yet. Stay at 1. Make sense? Okay. So keyframe number 2, select the object. It's still selected. Okay. Step number 2, position the time. We want this to grow probably before it ends right there. We want to keep it still on the screen. We don't want it growing all the way. Or let's make it grow all the way. Why not? -1 frame. Okay? And then we're going to step number 3, position the, manipulate your parameter here. So we just want this, maybe that one. Just slight, very subtle. Step number 4, keyframe. We don't have to do it because it's already keyframed. Let's take a look. There it is, your typical trailer. All right, very subtle. Okay, and then of course you pair this with your we really need new computers. All right, there it is. Okay, so let's do another one. This time we're going to do 2 parts. Okay, so the top one we're going to put from the director off. Okay, from the director off. Okay, and then this one, since the movie is reside, so this is going to be side. From the director of side. Okay, so before we animate anything, let's position them first to how we want them, right? So the side one right here, we go to video, we're definitely putting this below. Right there, okay? Or maybe up here, we're gonna select from the director off, going up. A little bit here. All right, and then we're definitely gonna shrink that one. Right there, and then this one, maybe that big, okay? From the director of side. All right, so let's animate this. Let's animate from the director of shrinking and then side growing, okay? So how long? Let's see. From the director of side. Okay, we'll give them the entire time right here, 5 seconds. I think it's good. All right. So let's work on side first because we want to make sure that it does the correct size right here. All right. So we'll shrink this. So 1 to 1, 1.2. Okay, is our number right here. So let's start at the beginning. We're just animating side. Okay, the one at the bottom. So we're gonna do our position, our timed already. Okay, and then we're gonna go here, put this back to 1. Okay, so it's that small, very subtle, right? And then step number 4, we're gonna keyframe it. There we go. All right, so now we go all the way, maybe 3.5 seconds. Okay, 3.5 seconds in, because we want it to stay still. Okay, so 3.5 seconds in. Okay, so we did select it. Number 2, position the time 3.5 seconds. Step number 3, manipulate your parameter here. So 1.2. There you go. Okay. Step number 4, keyframe, but it's already keyframe. So let's take a look. All right. super choppy, but anyway. So now we're going to do this one. Select the object, position the time. It is positioned in the beginning. Okay, step number 3, manipulate the parameters. So that one's growing, this one should be shrinking, correct? So this one should be this size right here, actually. Okay, we're just going to leave it this size and keyframe it. All right, and then we go, is that 3.5? Yeah. We selected it, we positioned the time, now we shrink it some more, right there. It's already keyframed, so when we watch this one, okay, so it has a very slight kind of parallax effect, okay? The other one takes a back seat, the other one goes forward from the directive side, okay? All right, so what else can we add to this one? Well, you can do slight rotation, kind of like Dutch angle it so that it has that very kind of not so good feeling. All right, so color too. Yeah, you can animate it. Yeah, side. Yeah, you can go from white then it turns red. Okay, so let's see if color is animatable. For side, we go text. This is color. Can we animate color? I think we have to do infusion, but it's really easy trick. You can just transition from one color to the next. You can trick it by putting another color and then you hide that and then you reveal it. Okay, that's one way to do it. Okay, so let's say I want this kind of slightly rotating. Okay, so I select both. Right click, new compound clip. I'm just gonna give it that name. And then right here, we can start animating this like slightly rotating. So it rotates on its own, okay? So we can go here at the beginning, position the time right there, animate rotated angle already. So let's say, too much. Yeah, maybe that one right there, okay? And then I'm gonna click keyframe, and then we want this to kind of go no rotation at the very end. Keyframe it. Okay, so now let's take a look. Let's give it some fades. Super choppy, but there you go. All right. So we compounded it so that it all rotates at the same time. All right. So easy keyframe, and you can jump to your keyframes by looking at those chevrons, those arrows, right? So it means when you click that, it goes to where the first keyframe is, or the previous keyframe, and then the next keyframe to the right. So you don't have to hunt it down where that keyframe is. What is that very similar to? After Effects. Yeah, this is all universal kind of interface. It's all the same. Okay, there's that. So one last thing. We're going to delete that. We have Safari here. There you go. Look at the newspaper. Okay. Oh no. Newspaper. All right. Oh, it's recommended.